So a couple months ago, I made a video going to the dyno with this car. This is my 2008 Saab 9.3 Turbo X, and I left you guys on a cliffhanger and basically said I have some changes coming to this car. So I noticed there's a dead bug on this. Leave! Be gone! Anyways, since then I have done some modifications to this car thanks to eEuro Parts, Krona, and Do88. I'll go ahead and show you guys those right now. So not much that you can see from here except for the big aluminum tube right here. So I have done a Do88 intercooler with charge pipes, as you can see right there, and of course there, which you can't see. And then along with that I've done the intercooler and then a Krona downpipe and a Krona midpipe. So right now, this car has a JZW Stage 1 tune. Now at the dyno today, I'm actually going to be switching to a different tune, and we're going to be comparing the JZW tune to a Maptun. So the Maptun versus JZW video, seeing which one's better, comparing the curves, the dyno graphs of those two. We're going to make a separate video on that. How big of a difference do these physical parts make? Because you hear all the time, you know, oh, getting a exhaust for your car is good, but how good is it? What big of a difference does getting a different downpipe, does getting a different midpipe, does getting a different intercooler and changing out your charge pipes, how big of a difference does that make? So today we're going to be comparing that. As you guys can also see, I removed all the plasti dip and stickers, and I just realized that I left this one on. But yeah, car's back to normal, so those of you that were a little bit triggered by that Halloween video, everything's good now. I'm going to stop talking because I know you guys just want to see this on the dyno, so I'm headed off to Black Market Racing, and we're going to see how big of a difference these parts make, how big of a difference in terms of wheel horsepower and wheel torque this makes. Now if you guys haven't seen the first dyno video, I do just want to say I'm going to spoil it here, so if you guys don't want to know how much power it made for some reason, stock or without any modifications really, it made 220 wheel horsepower and 250 wheel torque. Now all you in the comments are saying, oh, my car's faster, blah, blah, blah. Well, you gotta remember, one, this is cross-wheel drive. Two, that was in the dead heat of the summer pretty much. And three, wheel horsepower and wheel torque versus crank horsepower and crank torque are miles different. So at the end of this video, I'll probably calculate the crank versus the wheel and see how much this thing is actually making at the crank. But anyways, I'm done rambling. Let's head off to Black Market Racing and see how much power this makes and how good it's going to sound on the dyno. I do want to mention that I'm running on 91 octane and that this car is all-wheel drive. And remember that these are wheel numbers, they're not crank numbers. Big difference between the two. Yeah, misfired pretty bad. 248 and 283 JZW. Alright, second one with JZW. Did not sound healthy. Way too much. Man.
That's where it first starts off. So this is about 13 and a half roughly.
Okay. So it ended up about 13 and a half. It started off pretty high though.
Yeah.
It's still high.
It's still really lean though. It should be a little richer by then.
Right.
Let's get richer to
okay. We'll switch over to the other tune then. So we're gonna put the Maptun Stage 2 on there. This is the handheld tuner, right?
Yep.
Stage
Maptuner X.
Alright, all done. That was fast. Took about a minute. At 255 and 298, I think. All right, last run. And 296 on that one.
Yeah. If you overlay that with the first one, that's the green one, the first two.
Okay, so the first one that we did was 248 and 283.
Yeah, and you can see all the misfires.
Right, yeah. Okay. Alright, so I am back from the dyno, and let me just say, that was awesome. Going into this, obviously I knew there would be tangible gains from a downpipe and a midpipe and an intercooler and charge pipes, but I honestly realistically expected maybe 20 wheel horsepower was like kind of what I was thinking or hoping for, but no, it was actually quite bigger than that. So here we have a before and after of the first run that I did back the first time I came, and then my run from when I just went right now. Overall, the torque and power curves are very, very similar from the before and after. It's just up quite a bit more. I'll go ahead and start with the physical numbers. So max power I made was 220, and this time I made 254. Torque was 250. This time was 298. Now keep in mind, these are wheel numbers. These are not crank numbers. So for all you out there that say, oh, my 9.3, oh, my 9.5 is way faster than that, blah, blah, blah. Also remember that this is an all-wheel drive car, so those drivetrain losses are going to account for even more in this car than it would for a front-wheel drive Saab. So it also got up to peak torque a bit quicker, and it held there for a bit longer. The power curve, again, is pretty similar. It might hold that power for a bit longer. You know, it's just kind of like shadowing the old one, just moved up a bit. So this one here is just a better view of my best run. As you can see, the power curve is pretty smooth. Torque curve is pretty smooth. You can see how much it peaks between about 2200 when they start measuring it and about 2700. It just absolutely peaks and then stays pretty flat up until about 4500 where it starts to die off. Power curve, of course, is just a gradual increase until about 5250 or so when it starts to die off. Now with the JZW tune, now as you saw in the video, we had a lot of problems with misfires, and as you can see from the chart here, it's quite obvious that there are a lot of misfires just by all the ups and downs in the power and torque curve. So still though, max power 248 horsepower, max torque 283, so less than the Maptun and less power and torque, and I'll compare those two here in a second, but I just wanted to show that this probably wasn't the best reading just because of how much it was misfiring, and the tune just couldn't handle the downpipe and the intercooler and all that. For some reason it misfired a ton, and for the record, the Maptun, which we used directly after, did not misfire once, and since I've had that tune on the car, it has not misfired once. So here's the JZW versus the Maptun. Of course, the Maptun again is a much, much smoother curve. The Maptun is the blue, the JZW is the red. So as you can see, Maptun made a bit more power, and Maptun made quite a bit more torque. So the car now has Maptun Stage 2 on it. I'm probably going to get a new fuel pump for the car soon because it did run a little bit lean The AFR was around 13 versus 12 or so where it should be at. So the guy who was running the dyno and my buddy Anthony were kind of just saying that, yeah, it's probably the fuel pump that's on its way out. And I have gotten the code P0089. Like I've said a couple times, the fuel pump is probably going to be the next thing that gets swapped out on this car. So there you have it, guys. That is how big of a difference just some simple bolt-ons can make to your car. From 220 horsepower to about 254, from 250 torque to about 298. That's a pretty significant increase. So I think it goes without saying that these parts are all worth the money. So I want to give a big shout out one more time to Do88, Krona, and E-Euro Parts for working with me on this. I mean, I think, again, just goes without saying how big of a difference that these parts can make for your car. So with that being said, that's going to wrap up this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. I'll see you all next time.
Check your body.